Welcome everyone tonight to the November meeting of the ADA Melbourne Electric Vehicle Branch. Thank you for coming out. We've got a film night on tonight on those where we're showing a film of the flight of the sun, one of the solar planes. And then tonight, and also we've got our annual meeting whereby we discuss as to who would go on the committee and who would take the different roles and that within the group. But I'd like to start first with some EV news. Maybe I'll try that one.
Nice photos.
Yes.
Yes, it's copyright.
I should put the little tag underneath. That's it. Yes, very true. I'm glad you took some. Thank you for emailing them to me. Can you hear me now? You can hear me. It's only 3 rows.
Three full rows.
He's probably worried about it for the YouTube. Oh, 4 rows. Oh, well, we're doing well. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got any level there? Yeah, something happening? Okay. Just going to make sure it's going. Okay, if you can see some level there on there, you probably assume it's going, so. Do you want to start at the beginning or shall we just keep going? You can edit out. Yeah, and edit it out, eh? Okay. We've had a good, I think we've had quite a good year with the electric vehicle group this year. On those, there's been the seminars and that we've had during monthly seminars as well, but there's been other important events that have occurred on those. Our EV Expo this year, 2015, that we had at Swinburne was well attended this year. On those, we had 2.5 times as many people come as the previous year. We got sponsorship from the RACV, and we had a coordinator and that organised it, and it was quite a successful day. The weather was pretty lousy at the start and sort of fined up a bit in the afternoon, but good attendance on those, and that went really well. And we had one around the garages as well. People came out and did some work on my car. So this is a Ford Capri that I bought from someone who'd built it in Sydney. The battery had failed and got a few other minor repairs and that to do to the car. So that was a good day. Some guys came out on those and we pulled all the batteries out from underneath the rear seat and started getting the car ready for its repair. So I've now built some of the batteries and that required on those. The batteries are going to go in 3 rows. They'll zigzag back and forth, $144 pack. It's not quite finished yet. It needs a couple of more rows of batteries to be done before it's finished, and then I can put them back in the car. I've been thinking about the battery management system and those that I would use in it. And so I'm going to use shunt regulators. I'm going to use a module on each battery pack. A little bit very similar to what Batterium do and EV Works and Perth, similar type systems. So I know, so they'll sit on the car. There'll be a shunt regulator fitted to each module. Battery voltages, the shunt regulators will be set to 4.19 volts. And the particular design that I've made, I've put potentiometers in it, I put trim pots in it, so that I'll be able to accurately adjust each individual module, because that's an accuracy of 0.05% on those, and you can't buy components to that sort of accuracy. So I'll be setting up all the shunt regulators on those and setting them up on a position power supply first before I put them into the modules. 700 milliamps of shunt current, which is quite good, which is what you need for some of these large modules. They're 160 ampere hour. And each module will have a green LED on the top to show that the battery's within the normal range on those. So looking down into the battery pack, you should see all rows of all green LEDs. And then when the battery is fully charged, and some of them are shunting, some of the modules are shunting, they will flash red on those on the LEDs. So the design, I've worked it out on a prototype board, and I've just ordered the parts for it now. So that'll be finished in the next few weeks. It can go in the car. So I'm excited about that. That's a home-built project where we're fixing up the battery on those, and it should go quite well, I hope. Then last weekend, we went to the Festivals of Cars. So Vince Pratico came down with me. So the two of us went down to Langwarrin, and we had a table set up for the ATA. We were showing the magazines, and we sold a couple of magazines as well. And there were cars down there. We had the ATA stand next to the Tesla Model S that was there. It's pretty good. We were between them, and the BMW i8 was on the other side. So that wasn't too bad. And all we had to show was my Vectrix. So it wasn't too good. We would like to have another couple of more vehicles there. But had a good look around, and it was a show well worth going to as well. I had a good look around and saw quite a few other cars, interesting cars there. Cars that reminded me, of my teenage years and some of the first cars and that I had. There was a lot of classic cars there and that as well. It was a good day. Now, coming up next month on those, we're planning a Christmas break-up. So we're going to have a barbecue on those in Westerfolds Park. It'll be jointly with the Australian Electric Vehicle Association. So I've invited them, and they're coming along as well. And so that'll be around lunchtime on those Saturday, the 12th of December. Porter Street picnic area. It's part of Westerfolds Park. You come in a different entrance, but they've got barbecues there, toilets. It's undercover. They've got a roofed-in area and that as well, where the barbecues are, and it looks quite good. And I think if I get there a bit earlier to make sure that we get a barbecue on those, we should be fine there. So that's what we're planning for our final event of the year. And so now, as part of tonight as well, we'll also have our annual meeting on those. So we have to have a meeting once a year to decide who's going to go on the committee, who's going to take up the positions, and that within the group on those. So we've got a convener, we've got secretary, we've got treasurer, and then we've got other committee roles, and that's just general committee and that within the group. So I'll probably start first with maybe some of the executive positions. Like Dave Clark has been treasurer this year on those. Is there anyone else interested in being treasurer? Or Dave saying that, would you be interested in being treasurer this year, David? Okay, to do it for the next year, I should say, for 2016. Okay, so we put that down, does David as treasurer? And I think maybe Adrian, you should maybe make some notes on those, or just, note as to who picks what roles. And then we've got the role of secretary. And Adrian has been doing the secretarial work this year, as well as organising the meetings while I've booked a lot of the speakers. But Adrian's been coming along, setting up all the audio-visual gear and that we use. It's quite often half an hour before the meeting and that he's here and then setting up and then doing the editing and uploading to YouTube. But Adrian also has taken on the role and that as secretary as well within the group on those. Not a lot of secretarial work and that to do on those. We've got an email, our ATA email that we use to monitor all the time and those. And I've been booking some of the guest speakers. So there's really only just a few other secretarial roles. Probably the membership on those, keeping sort of tabs of the members, sending out the invitations, isn't it? Like through our email list on those and sort of keeping control of those sort of things and that as well. It's not a lot, is it? Okay. So Adrian agreed to do it for this year. Was there anyone else that was interested in doing that for this year? What do you think, Adrian? Good. Oh, thanks, Adrian. So then Adrian will continue on for another year. And then we've got the convener's position as well. So the convener, you know, more or less just a spokesperson and that for the meetings. I'm also negotiating quite often with people to come along as guest speakers on those, but other members of the committee and that can also find guest speakers on that as well, and that to come in and do it on those. So the convener's role is, it's just being up the front here sometimes and just saying, keeping a handle of what's happening in that within the meetings and other things like that. Is there anyone in the group there that's interested in doing the convener for next year? Yes, I'll be willing to do it next year. Is there anyone else interested in doing it? No. Well, I can do it, yeah. Okay, so I'll probably continue on with that role next year. Here we are.
Sorry. You've just been nominated.
And then there's committee roles. Yep, there's committee roles in that as well. The committee has only met once this year so far on those, so we haven't had a lot of involvement in that with the committee. Maybe we might have a bit more involvement next year. But really what the committee has done a lot this year has been involved with in organising the expo. So there's quite a bit of work to do with the expo, and some people take up different roles within the expo. It may be advertising, it might be organising the stall holders, because organising the show and shine, to set up the venue and to do the actual logistics of the venue. So there's a number of things roles that have been done with the EV Expo. But I'm interested to hear if anyone's interested in coming in on the committee. Are there others who'd like to come in and be involved in the committee this year? Clint, do you want to say? Yes? You're going to come on and be on the committee? Yep. So we have Clint Steele. Okay. On those, we might, sometimes we have committee meetings after our main meetings, or we have them at other times. And quite often the committee is communicating by email on those. So, you know, it might be something that we want to talk about, you know, and it's just receiving an email and... Fine. So what was your name again? Sorry? Bernie? So Bernie's willing to go on the committee this year. And there was Felix, I was willing to go on, and Mario on those. Well, I think that's a working committee. I think there's plenty there on then to do that. Well, that's good news. So is there anything else that anyone wanted to mention for the general meeting on those? I think we've pretty well wrapped it up. Okay, good. So don't forget about our Christmas breakup on that next month. If you've got an EV, bring it along and that as well. The Australian Electric Vehicle Association will be there and see what they bring along. And it'll be good to meet with some people that of the other group as well, and those, you know, have a bit of social time and that together with. Okay, well that was all that I had to mention for that meeting then tonight, and I think we might just go on and watch the film. Thank you.